Good evening, everyone. This is Rajendran here, joining from Marketcalls, and welcome everyone to Traders Cafe public session. Where in this public session, where we're going to talk about live Nifty and Bank Nifty analysis. I hope am I audible? If I'm audible, just simply type yes in the comment box so that I can understand that you're able to hear me. So the session is completely going to be in English. If possible, we'll try to do our upcoming session in the Hindi and other languages as well. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to start the day with a top-down analysis. We're going to look into the Nifty and Bank Nifty charts. So I'm going to start with an plain vanilla chart of Nifty. I'm using two softwares over here. One is AMI Broker, another one is Ninja Trader. So I'll start with monthly time frame. Now, if I see the monthly time frame, you can see that the monthly itself having an classical sideways market pattern. So this sideways pattern, you can see that for the last, I could say approximately for the last 2 years, Nifty has been maintaining sideways on the monthly time frame. So traditionally, this kind of sideways market, if it is going for a longer period, right, more and more sideways market can be anticipated. So I think the entire 2022 is likely to trade between 18,500 on the upper cap, and lower cap it is going to be 15,500. Now let's roll down to one time frame lower. I'm going to start with I'm going to move down to weekly time frame. In the weekly time frame, what we've been seeing here is last 3 weeks Nifty had slided down. This week so far it is kind of an inside bar. So nothing much clearly happening as of now. There is no clear direction as of now, but we can say here even in this weekly also, price is sideways to down. We can say price is maintaining sideways to down because last 3 weeks price maintained down. This week neither the weekly high nor the weekly low has been taken on the, neither on the upside or on the downside has been taken either way. And when it comes to daily is also running sideways. It's been running sideways for the last 5 trading sessions. Nifty has been bounded between this range. Last 5 days. Last 5 days, price has been totally trading between 17,400 and 17,800 kind of levels. Now, what is so important here is I do primarily look into two kinds of sentiment. One is I'll be looking into the indicator sentiment. So I use Turbo RSI for that. So the Turbo RSI is maintaining positive. It's been maintaining positive. When it says it is on green indications, you might be able to see the green indications over here. If it is having a green indications, obviously the sentiment is holding positive. Right? It's been holding positive. You can see here the sentiment has been holding positive over here. So these are the places recently sentiment was positive right from over here to here. Then sentiment went a bit negative. Sentiment went a bit negative over here. It's the same thing. Sentiment also a bit negative over here. But market went sideways. Now what is happening? A lot of choppiness and sentiment is maintaining positive. See, positionally this information is good, but at the same time, we need to understand that couple of things. So it is currently the bias is holding positive, but there are chances that anytime it might flip to negative because there are certain indications saying Nifty price action might be shifting to the downside. I'm going to explain the reasons behind that. So for that, building the context, I'm going to use market profile. So I'll be showing you later on. Now this is one thing that I'll be mostly using to maintain my bias. So currently the bias is up. So either one should be doing intraday activity or maybe they might be holding positional longs as long as the sentiment is holding positive over here. All right. But the moment sentiment is turning negative, the moment indicators are changing to negative, the positional bias shifted to the downside. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through another indication, which is Wheel Intra V5. I use it for myself. I use it on a 15-minute scale and a hourly scale. So on a hourly scale, the indicators are holding positive, nothing much. Markets are going sideways. There's no productivity in the signal yet. However, the signal could turn negative if price action start going down below 17 657 kind of levels. Now, why this is so important? Because that is where the sentiment also could turn negative. There are two sentiments, as I said, I'll be looking into that primarily from an indicator perspective. From an indicator perspective, daily sentiment, I'll be looking into that. Indicators are positive. Harley is also maintaining positive, but it is on the verge of turning negative. So when it could turn negative, if at all we are seeing a sustained price action down below 17,650 kind of levels. So maybe it could lead to some sort of a temporary selling pressure in the markets. So the last thing is what I'll be looking into the market profile. Let me look into the market profile over here. Now, let me tell you, a lot of interesting things are happening in market profile. Yesterday, what happened is like a lot of weaker hands, they trade the longs, which is very much evident if you look at these levels, the letter D and E. So these are the places very precisely traders are entering at a very weaker reference levels. We call this a weaker reference. Traders are coming and dominating over here. They're kind of smart traders, but not for a longer period. Right? So too much of trading references we are able to see in yesterday's case. We call them like a dominant traders. Right? Notice the D and E period, exactly same TPOs I'm using. I'm using market profile charts. I'm using a Ninja Trader 8 platform. Notice the I and J period. Maybe I'll zoom it out and then I'll show you. Notice how I and J period are so visual. In fact, the letter I and J is also getting so visual to the yesterday's high. The 2nd September high and the 5th September I period low and J period low are mostly visual. And then I'm also looking through the K and L period. This K and L period also visual. So what we can learn from here is like more and more laggard momentum traders are coming at various visual reference level. Kind of a crowded activity is getting built up. It's like markets are getting long and long and long and long and long. So we say like more and more laggard traders are, or momentum chasers are coming and chasing momentum at various price level, which is very much evident from the profile structure. So the context itself is saying like, though it is bullish, it is a kind of a cautious level. Anybody attempting to take a long activity over here, one could become a part of a laggard, not from the smart money perspective. They're not smart money. They are most likely, they could be smart for maybe 1 or 2 days, but they cannot be smart forever. Traditionally, price do have the habit of going against them. So price is also going against them. So that is what it is happening over here. Price opened the gap up today. In fact, what happened is like today, price action, a total liquidation is what it happened in Nifty over here. So that's a crazy liquidation. If I could zoom out the charts, I can show you. Price opened. It took out multiple day high. One of the failed auction reference level has been cleared off, which is quite anticipated though. But then price within a very short span of time, within half an hour, very faster pullback is what we had seen. And right from the start of the day, the price started breaking down. That means right from first to 5 minutes, within first to 5 minutes, the top has been made and price started sliding down. It's a one-way downside move. I was very much surprised to see that. It was a classical downside move with a huge volume. Almost the selling pressure itself, 190 points of selling happened in a matter of just first 1.5 hours. Maybe you might be surprised to see the 5-minute charts. I'll show you the 5-minute charts, how the 5-minute charts of Nifty was today. It was very interesting one though. Just give me a sec. I'll pull up the 5-minute charts. During live markets also, I noticed that. I'll show you how it happened. So look at the first 5-minute charts. Now what happened here is like the first 5 minutes is where the high has been made. And then look at that. That high is not taken out by the next bar high. That bar high is not taken out by the subsequent bar high. And that bar is not taken out by subsequent bar high. And that bar high is not taken out by the subsequent bar high. This has been keep on continuing till 10:30. Till 10:30, not even a previous bar high is not taken out at all. It's a one-way selling pressure. Volume was spectacularly high. Maybe if let me plot out the volume and then I'll show you. I'll go to the charts, I'll go to the basic charts and I'll try to pull up the volume color. So if you could see the volumes, opening volumes are decent volumes, but then the volume intensity was very high comparatively. Now later on second half, I've seen very less volume coming in, but primarily the volume at the opening was higher, reasonably higher. Substantially, it maintained higher volume. It maintained high volume till 10:30. Till that time, the volume was there. It's kind of a profit booking activity. So some of the smart players who went long, they have been booking profits. Whenever a profit booking is happening from a short-term trading activity, the volume intensity will be very high. And moreover, later on, you can see that the volume activity start drying up. That is where the markets also started rotating. Markets are balancing. So we call this a balancing markets. But this is what it happened in the second half. Second half, market has been totally rotated. Now, what is so interesting about Nifty here is like, as I said, there are a couple of weaker reference level have been targeting on the downside. Now, one of the most important weaker level is, let me show you, it's been on the downside here. So one of this is the level 17,440. It's kind of a visual reference level. So I call it as a dominant buyers. So these are dominant buyers. Traditionally, they act like a temporary support zone. These levels, the level 17,440, which happened on 30th of August, it acts like a temporary support zone. However, at some point in time, it becomes a potential target destination. And what I'm expecting is like, I'm expecting in this series, I'm expecting a potential target I'm expecting over here. In the series, 17,440 is one of the reference level I'm expecting in the series. And next to that, I'm also expecting one more dominant activity. So you see this level, the level was so visual to the previous month low in the September series, not in the previous series, but it's getting very so visual to the 4th of August low and also 1st of August low. It's getting so visual to that. So I'm also considering this low as one of the important potential reference in the series. That means 17,250 and 17,440 are the two important reference level I've been considering as a temporary support zone, which was a temporary support zone. Now these temporary support zone are likely to become a potential targets going forward. So going forward, I'm expecting a potential target reference around these levels. So this is from Nifty. However, from Bank Nifty, what I'm seeing here is like Bank Nifty also inventory went long to too long. It is a kind of a situation where it is kind of an overheated sentiment. Bank Nifty is getting overheated. And temporary support zone has been formed around the P-shaped profile. So today also price managed to dip below that, but responsive traders, they started coming and pull back the price action above those reference levels. Yesterday's price action was a P-shaped profile. So P-shaped profile generally indicates short covering rally. If at all, if the value area is building higher, completely building higher above the P-shaped profile, we'll call it as a fresh money. However, today's price action, we haven't seen any fresh value area building higher. Today's value area was overlapping to the yesterday's value area. So notice the value area. The rectangular bracket is the value area. All right. So what we are seeing is like overlapping value area. That means still for any new money to happen, more time price has to start trading above 40, 100 kind of levels, which is not happening as of now. However, the P-shaped profile is what it is acting like a kind of an support zone. Price is also hanging around that zone. Still haven't given up yet. But if in case if I'm seeing more and more trading activity coming down, start accepting down below 39,791 kind of levels. If I'm seeing more activity start happening down below 17,791 kind of levels, probably I'll be expecting price action to start focusing towards two important reference level. The AB power low 39,315 is the reference level, which is the very immediate target. Considering from a very short term perspective, when I say very short term perspective, I'm talking about this week. The chances of 39,315 happening is pretty much a possible activity. And next to that, there is one more important reference level to watch out, which is the 1st September low, that is the current month low. The current month low itself coming around 38,946 levels. So these are the two important reference level I'm considering. And along with that, I'm also monitoring a very important indicator, which I do use for myself. So one of the indicator is like the Harley. This is the Harley indicator. It's called extreme indication. What I'm seeing is like I'm seeing the price action is attempting to go slow and steadily upwards. I'm seeing a divergence building up. Generally, I'm not a big fan of divergence, but however, I can tell you like this price action is getting the price action divergence is there, where the price is shooting up, whereas the indicators are pointing to the downside. As the price are continuously keep on making higher highs, indicators are making consecutively lower lows, and it is pointing to downside. So which is also bringing the possibilities of immediate downside odds. So these are the two information which I've been watching out in case of Nifty and Bank Nifty. Yes, the markets are a bit bearish, and let's see how the price action is shaping up. As far as the internationally, if you're looking into that, SGX Nifty is less trading neutral to negative. US market, in fact, it has been coming down, right? So overall, it's been coming down. Even in US market also, I'm expecting price action to come down to something like 38,000 kind of levels. This is in US market, we use SPX, right? ESPX or ES Mini. Like how we have Nifty, they have S&P 500. Like how we have Sensex, they have Dow Jones. So I track S&P a lot compared to Dow Jones. And Dow Jones, very few people trade. Real traders, they trade in ES Mini. So I do keep track of ES Mini. I'm also having a peer review in ES Mini, expecting some sort of an price action like another 128 points, just like something like a kind of a 3% move on the downside is what I'm expecting. More or less likely in this series, I'm expecting another 3% down move from the current levels. All right, so that is what I thought of talking about in today's session. We'll try to catch up next time with more interesting videos. If you like this session, let me know in comments. If you need any new contents to be spoken, let me please give your comments in the feedback. And I say thank you for coming by and attending. Thank you once again.